Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us, dear viewers, here on The Breakfast Show. And time now for the second main topic here in the program, the trilateral summit that was held here in Cairo between President Sisi, President Abbas, and King Abdullah of Jordan to discuss a number of issues of mutual concern, including the just Palestinian cause. And we are joined over the phone by His Excellency Ambassador Hussein Haridy, former assistant to the Foreign Minister. Thank you very much, Ambassador Haridy, for joining us. A very good morning to you, dear sir. And first of all, we want to know from you, what do you think is the significance of the tripartite summit, especially at this timing?
Well, I guess, personally speaking, I guess it was about time for Egypt, Jordan, and the Palestinian Authority to get together to exchange views and coordinate their positions vis-à-vis some developments in the context of the Israeli-Palestinian relations, in the context of American-Israeli relations, and generally speaking, the course the Palestinian question has been taking lately. Speaking about the Palestinian-Israeli relations, a couple of days ago, the president, the chairman of the Palestinian Authority, Mr. Mahmoud Abbas, met the Israeli defense minister. And this meeting was the first high-level meeting between the Palestinian Authority and a senior Israeli official from 2010. As far as Israeli-American relations are concerned, the Israeli Prime Minister visited the White House last week and met with President Biden, and the two agreed on improving the economic opportunities for the Palestinians. In other words, to strengthen economic relations between the Palestinian Authority and Israel. As far as the Palestinian question itself is concerned, nothing of consequence has been happening ever since the Israeli aggression against Gaza last May. Despite the efforts that Egypt has been exerting, whether on the Israeli side or on the Palestinian side, to move ahead. So the summit yesterday, and by the way, I have to mention also that King Abdullah of Jordan is the first Arab leader to have conferred with the American President, Mr. Joe Biden, at the White House. So the summit meeting yesterday in Cairo was well-timed, and it was a very good opportunity for the three leaders to exchange views on these latest developments and to chart a new course for dealing with the Palestinian question with all its dimensions, whether the Palestinian dimension or the American, European, international efforts to really to find a way to carry out a peaceful resolution of the Palestinian question.
Yes.
And this summit took place before 2 weeks from the start of the the annual session of the General Assembly of the United Nations. And as you may know, sir, in the general debate, which inaugurates the session, leaders from around the world do explain their positions vis-à-vis the pressing international problems, among which, of course, figure the figures in Palestinian question. So I guess now Egypt, Jordan, the Palestinian Authority are in a position to understand, to better understand how to deal with these developments and the impact of these developments, of the chances of moving ahead with the implementation of Security Council resolutions concerning the Palestinian question. On the other hand, it was a very good opportunity, very good occasion for Egypt, for President Sisi to stress the importance of course, reaching a truce and armistice agreement between the Palestinian Authority, Hamas, Al-Jihad al-Islami, and the Israeli government in Gaza as an opening for the beginning of the reconstruction efforts. Having said that, another pressing question from an Egyptian point of view is what we call the national unity agreements between the Palestinian Authority on the one hand and Hamas and Al-Jihad al-Islami on the other hand, to form a national unity government so that Palestine can speak with one voice, can address the international community with one voice. So these are Egyptian concerns. And in the summit yesterday that was held in Cairo, President Sisi underlined the importance of all these questions.
Indeed, Mr. Ambassador, President Sisi stressed on the importance of achieving Palestinian reconciliation. Now, finally, because we're running out of time, how do you see Egypt's role in not just in reaching the Palestinian-Israeli truce, but in sustaining that truce and in launching the reconstruction process in the impoverished, battered Gaza Strip?
Well, as I said, sir, earlier, Egypt has been exerting enormous efforts on this score. And of course, Egypt yesterday made it clear that it would continue stressing the importance of reaching a long-term truce. And on the other hand, it's imperative to start the reconstruction in Gaza, plus, of course, as you said, to really implement all the agreements concerning the inter-Palestinian reconciliation. And my understanding is that Egypt would keep pushing in this direction and also working with the Israelis and the Palestinians on the exchange of prisoners of war between the two sides.
Yeah. Mr. Ambassador, for years, the just Palestinian cause was perhaps, out of the main agenda of the international community. But after the Israeli aggression on the Gaza Strip a few months ago, and perhaps after the American withdrawal from Afghanistan and other developments that are happening, do you believe that we are seeing the just Palestinian cause back, on its way back to the top of the international agenda again?
Well, during the Israeli aggression against the Gaza Strip last May, of course, the international interest in the Palestinian question has been obvious and has been clear and ambiguous. And the European Union and the American administration of President Joe Biden all emphasized the need to implement the two-state solution. But now the onus is on the Palestinians and on the Israelis. Without a clear political will on the part of the Israelis and the Palestinians to move ahead, I guess the role of the international community would be minimal. And that's what, this is the reason why Egypt has been pushing the Palestinians and the Israelis to take concrete actions on the ground to facilitate the transition from the present status quo, which is unsustainable in the long run, and to a transition to a context where the two sides, the Israeli and the Palestinian, are really working in order to implement the two-state solution. Otherwise, some experts believe that it's only a matter of very few years, and the chances of carrying out the two-state solution would be almost nil.
Okay. On that note, we thank you very much, and on behalf of you, dear viewers, we thank very much Ambassador Hussein Haridy, former assistant to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Thank you very much, sir.